Hello everybody and welcome back to the AOR Hype Energy F3 League on the PS4. Season number 16, round number 10 takes us to the British Grand Prix and the legendary Silverstone circuit. My name is Kieran McGinley and joining me in the box is Austin Smith. Austin, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great, Karen. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Obviously I've had some time off. You were in the commentary box on your own last week, Austin, I understand.
Yes, indeed, and I'm very happy to have you with me tonight. It's definitely easier if you do it with two than with one.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's this thing I have to do at the start of every stream that I have to upload the thumbnail, and with a second commentator in the box, that makes it slightly easier. So I don't have to keep talking and talking. It's good. I quite like it.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. But maybe we can go a little into the track. It is the British Grand Prix at the home of British motor racing here at Silverstone. The third longest track on the F1 calendar. So expect some long laps. Some very interesting qualifying. That always makes for interesting qualifying because the lap is longer, therefore less runs, more chances for mistakes. And a little bit of a shuffled up grid, maybe. We're going to have to wait and see for that. And also, only 26 laps. So, chances are the race is over rather quickly. Unless, of course, there's a safety car or something like that. Which, on this track, can happen. It's not the most likely. But definitely a possibility.
Absolutely. Obviously, it's the home Grand Prix of just under half the drivers in this F3 league, so they'll all be hoping for a good result today. I have in front of me, Austin, a sheet of paper with all of the corner names on them, because although it's my home Grand Prix, that new stadium section they put in about 6 or 7 years ago, I still don't know all the names of. So it's all in a sheet of paper right in front of me. So if I seem a bit distracted, I'm just trying to remember what corner we're on.
Yeah, what I'm worried about is that you have a sheet of paper. Why are you not digital yet? I mean, we're in 2018. What are you doing?
I mean, this was the first ever Grand Prix on the F1 calendar. It deserves paper, Austin. Come on now.
Okay. That's a fair point. As we are loading right now, we are ahead of 18 minutes of qualifying. That's how this works here, and then 26 laps of racing. Lap time, pretty much around a minute and 30. Probably, I would guess a bit longer, minute 31, minute 32 maybe. We're going to have to wait and see how that works out. But that's pretty much the lap time that we can expect. At least in the race, in the qualifying, it's going to be a bit faster, obviously, because the car is underway with very little fuel. The tires are very fresh, and so this makes for faster lap times. I would guess probably a minute 28, minute 27 maybe for the qualifying. But yeah, the tires that we have available for this Grand Prix are the soft in yellow, the medium in white, and the hard in, well, light blue. Because we have to distinguish it from the full wets, which are dark blue. And obviously the intermediates rather, in green. We're gonna have to wait and see. It is the British Grand Prix, so there is a good chance that we might use some of these wet tires. And I mean, looking at the sky right now, there are some shades of blue, but there's also a lot of gray I see. So we might have some rain.
Yeah, we could have some rain.
We see a lot of drivers coming out of the pits rather early. So maybe there is some rain already coming in the qualifying.
I think you're right, because every single driver is on a set of soft tyres, and we've seen previously some drivers like to prioritise the strategy over anything else. So to see everyone going out on soft tyres, I think you're right, Austin. I think there's rain on the way.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the track, and it almost seems like there is already a little bit of water on it, maybe, or was that just in the pit? Was that a little bit of dust? I don't know, but it seems to me that there's already just a slight bit of liquid on the track, a slight bit of water. But I could be wrong, maybe that's just my eyes not working, but We might actually see some rain here rather soon. And yeah, everyone except now one driver, Alex Musica, is the only one who has fitted the medium tires, but he hasn't left the pits yet.
He's just enticing us, Austin, for a different strategy. But I think you're right. There's got to be a reason nearly every single driver is on a set of soft tyres. And the reason must be that the weather is going to change very soon. And if that's the case, Austin, and we only get one lap of dry qualifying, well, we might not see any other driver for the rest of the session, because if it rains, then no one wants to go out.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting for us then, huh?
Yeah, we have plenty of stories to talk about. Absolutely, I've got plenty, Austin. I don't know about you. We're riding with Sergey then, as he makes his way on to his flying lap. Currently the championship leader, 16 points separates himself and Demon in the Toro Rosso. You've been watching that championship battle closely over the last couple of races, Austin. Who do you think has the upper hand going into 2019? Obviously, this is the last race of 2018 in AOR. Who do you reckon will take the upper hand into next year?
I think this is going to come down to the result of this race, really. If Sergey is going to keep up his consistency that he has shown so far in this season, with 7 out of 9 races that he finished on the podium. Only 2 wins, if you want to say only there. 3 second places and 2 third places, and the other 2 were a 4th and an 8th. So 9 out of 9 times he finished with at least 4 points. If he can keep up this consistency, I think he has the prime position. He is in the prime position to make his way to the championship, keep the lead. But for Demon, it's more of a hit and miss, really, so far. 4 wins, almost half of the races that he's competed in this season, he has won. But when he didn't win, that's the problem. He got a 2nd place, he got a 4th, he got an 8th, but he also got a 12th and a 13th, and that's where the issue is for him. He cannot allow himself to finish without points anymore. The moment he finishes out of the points is probably the moment Sergey is just gonna waltz away and increase the gap to a point where it's gonna be very, very hard for Demon to reel him back in.
Well, you're absolutely right. As you can see there, Demon on top of the table, 126.2, as all the drivers flood over the line, all the times coming in thick and fast. Sergey, 126.4, puts him in 2nd, 126.6 from the OG, 126.8 from Crow Nexus, 126.9 from Jake there, 127.0 from Igo Champ, 127.2 from Roadhouse, 127.3 from Solid Ninja Snake, 127.5 from Pitmat, Drez there had a lap invalidated. Alex Music has set a banker lap, I believe, of a 134.4, as he's actually going again, charging up that battery, going again. We've got the Mighty Bucket, who's just started a lap. Jamie James seems to be coming back to the pit lane, I do believe. He's turned down the battery. Elite Game Boy, we saw, had left the session, so hopefully he's going to come back. Really hope he's going to come back, because otherwise he's going to miss out on this dry running. But we don't know when that rain's going to come down, but if we've got the driver's reaction to gauge from, it looks like it's going to be pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm constantly in the TV pod camera looking at the halos, because that's generally the first spot where you can see the raindrops coming down. And so I'm switching through all of the drivers constantly, trying to see when the rain hits and where it hits. Remember, and I found... Oh, my goodness. I'm thinking too fast for my tongue. On F1 2018, for the first time, we have this feature that the rain can hit at a certain part of the track, while another part of the track is still dry. So that can happen. That's why I'm constantly switching through, trying to find whether there is some rain somewhere, but it doesn't seem like it right now, as all the drivers come back into the pits with 12 minutes left.
A Mighty Bucket here coming around the final corner as he makes his way towards the line. It's a 126.9, but the lap doesn't count. It was invalidated, so he has to go again. And you know, wasting laps like that, invalidating them, can cost you in the end. Obviously, when the rain comes, you're not going to be able to be up the order with that dry tyre. And obviously, if the race starts wet, then these tyres they're using right now don't matter at all, because they can just simply put on a set of intermediates or wets and be done with it. If the race is dry though, they'll have to use the tyres the top 10 they qualified on in this session set the fastest lap time.
Yes, indeed, and that's another possibility. We might actually not see any rain this session, and they're going out on the softs. Or maybe we see some rain towards the end. That's why everyone wanted a banker lap, and then probably go out on another set of softs. Every driver has at least 2 sets of softs here, depending on what tire allocation they choose. They have 3 different options here: either 2 softs, a medium, and a hard, or 3 softs and a medium, or 4 softs. So depending on what tire allocation they choose, they have different tires available. But it still doesn't look like it's raining.
Yeah, but all the drivers are out again. They've come back in and they're straight back out. They are really expecting this rain to hit at some point in this session, because normally there's a little bit of waiting around. No, everybody's on their second lap already, and we still have 10 minutes of the session to go. We're not even halfway through, and some drivers could have set 2 laps in a qualifying session, where normally you'd be looking to set a lap on the mediums, seeing how that fares against the rest of the field, then think about a soft tyre run. Nope. Some drivers are opting for a 2 soft tyre run in anticipation of that rain coming down.
Yes, and now it's getting very interesting, because you have to remember, generally, if you choose a tire allocation, you don't know what weather is coming. So you choose it thinking it's probably not going to rain, you know, and you prepare for a dry race, completely dry, and a dry qualifying. And then you have these weird conditions that are right now dry, but you're waiting for the rain to hit every moment, and it's not coming. And maybe you chose a harder allocation because you wanted to approach it a little bit more strategically, and so now you only have 2 sets of softs. And what do you do now? Do you throw both sets of softs at it, thinking that, well, the rain is going to come at some point, and then maybe it doesn't come, and your gamble doesn't pay off? Or do you say, okay, I'm going to set 1 banker lap, and if that's really good, I'm just going to wait and try to monitor the weather and try to go out as late as I think I can to set another lap on the softs. That is a very, very weird situation and strategic call that the drivers have to make, and there is a bit of luck involved. There's a huge bit of luck involved, in fact, and we're gonna have to see who gets it right and who gets it wrong. FAP Demon looks like he got it right. He put some stuff on provisional pole, but we'll see how long it lasts. Still no rain. I'm still looking through all the halos and all the TV pod shots I can get, and still no rain. No, not a single drop on any of the halos.
Well, here comes Sergey then, flying through turn 15 there as we head now towards 16 and 17 of Vale and Club Corner. Important to get the traction absolutely spot on. You see that orange sausage carve on the left hand side there, put there because of Max Verstappen, and Sergey there, 126.2. puts him into P3. His teammate, by the way, 126.4. Drez puts himself up into P3. That's a good lap from Drez there to put himself on the second row of the grid. Still more lap times to flood through. The OG has completed the lap. He's currently P6. Dan the Snake, meanwhile, I'm not entirely sure if he's on a lap. He's got the DRS open, and he's on medium, running on the battery, so he's going to complete the lap then, heading down towards the final 3 corners of 16, and then through 17 through this club section here, and then the right-hander of turn 18. You've really got to watch the traction there, as it's a little bumpy on the exit. As you can see there, Dan the Snake just winding up, ready for another lap. So there's an inherent risk here that if these drivers have to start on these tyres, then maybe they're going to put 1 lap into the tyre. If they've seen that it's going to rain at the start of the race, then there's no point saving these tyres.
I would disagree to some extent, because just because it shows that there is some rain at the start of the race doesn't mean that they're going to start on the intermediate tire. There is a certain window where it shows rain at the start of the race, but you still start on dry tires, and therefore you would have to start on the tire you qualify on. We could be in exactly that window. Looking at the conditions now in the qualifying, I wouldn't rule that out. And so we might see some very, very interesting conditions at the start of the race. Slight rain and still dry tires. Not enough for the intermediates. This can get very, very exciting simply based on strategy.
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing. Looking at the qualifying at the moment, Pitmat puts it up into P3. Jake here now into 4th place. The gap between those two, of Pitmat and Jake, is 0.04 of a second. The gap between 3rd, 4th and 5th is 0.07 of a second. And if we have a look at, let's see, the gap between the leader, you can see all the way down to 8th place, just over half a second. So it's a pretty close field for this round, and that's exactly what we want.
Indeed, and I expect for the race nothing short of very, very close and tight racing. And it's gonna get interesting for sure, as there is still no rain. I'm kind of confused now, though. Why does everyone rush when there's still no rain? And we're talking about people, drivers now being able to use their 3rd soft compound tire, their 3rd set of soft tires, if they still have one. But everyone's in the pit now.
Well, Demon's out for a 3rd lap.
Almost everyone.
Yeah, Demon's out for a 3rd lap. Just want to point out, P7 and P8, the OG and Chrome Nexus, have set exactly the same lap time, a 1:26.583. I know this league is close, guys, but come on.
I've seen that a couple of times before, and for the viewers, maybe to explain how is this solved if two drivers have the exact same lap time. Well, it's pretty simple. Whoever sets it first gets the higher position. So the OG was the first one to set his 1:26.583, so he is in P7, and Chrome Nexus is in P8 because it took him a bit longer to get to that lap time. Very, very unfortunate for him. 1/1000th of a second would have been 1 place.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sort of calls back to that bizarre qualifying session. I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going with this, Austin, where 3 drivers set exactly the same lap time. I believe it was Schumacher, Villeneuve and Heinz-Harald Frentzen set exactly the same lap time.
Indeed, it was in Jerez back in the day. I think it was the European Grand Prix, but it was obviously in Spain. But it was called the European Grand Prix at the time. Very, very interesting, and it was the same way to solve this problem. Whoever sets the lap time first gets the higher or the better position, and then everyone else is behind that. You need to beat a time in order to be ahead of that driver.
It's a pretty simple system, and it works time and time again. Demon then on a flying lap as he makes his way through the old turn 1 Cops corner, and now we're riding on board as we head.
No, Demon is on no ERS deployment right now. He is not setting a proper lap time. He is just, I feel like he's just warming up his tires probably to get another lap in, which I find interesting because again, we were expecting, at least we were expecting some rain, but maybe the drivers were just trying to get as many laps in as possible. Maybe they were expecting the rain, but it doesn't hit, it doesn't come.
Yeah, it's pretty odd that, you know, Demon now and Sergey, most of these drivers now are on their 3rd flying lap, and that's not something you normally see. You normally see drivers take a break or try different tyres. No, all of them have been soft tyre runs so far, so these drivers definitely expected rain. They definitely have it on their radar, but for some reason the rain's held off and it's provided us with some quick quali times, so I'm not exactly complaining.
Neither am I. And now everyone, absolutely everyone, from first to last on the soft tires, so no mediums at all, no one's holding back. We have a proper qualifying session. I love to see that, because oftentimes when you look at the tire distributions this season, there are some races, and if I remember correctly, we're going to have that at the next race, the first race of 2019, the German Grand Prix, again, that a tire compound is being skipped. And so therefore you can either choose to go on the softest compound and try to qualify well, but compromise your race strategy, or you go onto the medium compound to qualify rather well, but not great, and have an advantage in the race. This is not a thing here. Everyone's on the softs. No one is playing any strategy games. Everyone's just throwing the kitchen sink at it as Demon goes into the pit, so the qualifying session for him is over.
That's a perfect opportunity for Sergey then, as he heads down towards turn 15. Chucks the car in, hopes it sticks. Watch the curve on the exit there as the Mighty Bucket has retired from the session. Here we go then towards the final three corners of 16 and then 17. Can Sergey find that crucial 0.3 of a second to put him onto pole position? He heads towards the line, and he can! A 125.9, the first person into the 125s. Sergey is on provisional pole. That's a great lap time from him. We'll see if anybody else is on a flying lap at the moment, or near to the line, I should say. Jamie James is heading through the Maggots Beckett section, but he's slowed down considerably. I'm wondering if Drez had a big part to play in that, as the checkered flag comes out for qualifying. He really helped his teammate there coming towards turn 9, the old turn 1 there. So I'm wondering if that slipstream effect had some sort of part to play in that one. That'll be interesting to see how much that affected him.
I'm pretty sure it did, because the slipstream on this track here is pretty strong, as it almost always is with these 2018 cars. And the dirty air here at Silverstone is not that bad compared to some other tracks, but getting out of the way for another driver that you want to help is definitely something important and something you want to do if you want to help them. So give him the slipstream on the straight, then get out of the way as quickly as possible before the next turn, and that definitely helps them. We're just talking about a difference of, what is that? Half a tenth. 0.054 seconds. Yes, the slipstream very well could have made that difference, and probably then some. So I think 1/10 it would be my estimate for this, and that's definitely more than the gap between Sergey and Demon. So very, very interesting team play here, as everyone is done with their laps, or they're in the pits, or they have retired from the session. So this is the final standing, as Sergey sits on pole position, and we are waiting for what the race conditions are going to be. And I have to say one thing. I've seen in the last few minutes that it looks like the sky has opened up a little bit. We see a bit more white, we see a bit more blue again. It isn't as gray as it was about midway through the qualifying session.
Well, I think
so going for a late run here was probably the key as well for Sergey to edge out Demon for pole position.
Well,
these are the standings.
Yeah, I'll run through them. Sergey grabs pole position, Demon second, Dan the Snake third, the OG in fourth, Pitmat fifth, Jake in sixth, Jamie James seventh, Drez in eighth, Cronexus ninth, Igo Champ 10th, Roadhouse in 11th, Solid Ninja State 12th, Mighty Bucket 13th, Alex Musica 14th, and we had Elite Game Boy here who left the session. So hopefully he has the internet to get back. Interestingly though, Alex Musica didn't set any real competitive lap time on the soft tyres, so that'll be interesting to see which tyre he actually can bring across to the race. If he can, he might have a new set of soft tyres to play around with, whilst the others might not.
Well, he did try to set a lap time on the softs twice, but both times were invalidated. One of them was a 126.3 that would have put him well into the top 10, but obviously, as he invalidated the lap time, he stayed way out of it. The 134 was the best he did without extending the track or cutting a corner. And yeah, he's gonna have to find some kind of strategy that works, as Look at these conditions. I am very surprised to see absolutely blue sky, a few clouds, but very, very sunny. No rain whatsoever.
Well, at least for now, Austin, there's no rain. Those blue skies
True.
can very quickly turn to grey, as we all know. Anyone who lives in Britain knows that. Take
Not
advantage
just,
of the
not
blue
just
sky.
anyone, not just anyone who lives in Britain, also everyone who's ever been to Britain, as I have visited the UK a couple of times. I know how quickly the weather can change there.
So, with that threat of rain in qualifying, it means, for one of the only times this season, you'll see the top 10 all starting on the soft tyre. So that's good to see. Those starting outside the top 10 get a free tyre choice. The Roadhouse has started on a new set of soft tyres. Solid Ninja Snake, his teammate. So the McLarens here are going for a split strategy. Solid Ninja Snake on a set of medium tyres. The Mighty Bucket also on medium tyres. Alex Musica on medium tyres. And Elite Game Boy still hasn't joined back into the session, so hopefully he can join us for this one. But Alex Musica, the last of the runners then at the moment, P14. No one, Austin, has dared go near those light blue hard tyres.
Yes, because they are not the fastest tire on this track by any means. They are generally, I would consider them to be an emergency tire, really. That means if you have some kind of collision, you need a front wing change, you need to come into the pits outside of your strategy a bit early, then you can get on these hard compound tires to take it to the end, because the one thing you want to do on this track in the race is avoid the pit lane. The pit lane is so long, you have to brake so early that you really don't want to go in there more than once. And so therefore, if you get some kind of damage, if you get some kind of strategy change forced on you, you want to use these hard compound tires to take them to the end. But otherwise, soft to medium or medium to soft is the fastest strategy here. You can take these tires the whole distance, and the hard is more of an emergency tire.
So just an update from Elite Game Boy. He doesn't have his wheel with him, so therefore he is just sitting on the sidelines watching, like us, what should be a fantastic British Grand Prix. And as all the cars line up onto the grid, we're moments away from round 10 of AOR Hype Energy F3 League and the last race of 2018. Thank you for joining us tonight, and Austin and I will be hoping to bring you this fantastic race, which is only moments away. Here we go then towards the 5 red lights here in Britain. Round 10 is underway, and what are the starts like? Looks like Demon on the right hand side hasn't got the greatest start in the world. Sergey's cut across him to cover him off into turn 1. Let's see if there's a little bit of carnage. There's 2 cars run wide going into turn 1, but it looks like the Renault there of the OG is trying to challenge Dan the Snake going through the first couple of corners. Sergey's managed to pull out a little bit of a lead though, and Demon has managed to hold on to second place from his teammate Dan the Snake. Then it's the OG, Pitmat, Jake, Igo Champ, Drez, Roadhouse and Solid Ninja Snake. Good start from both the McLarens. They're up into the points now. Watch out for that Haas in the distance there. That's Drez in the background looking for his next victim there, as that's the Roadhouse also trying to challenge Drez then as we head through the next couple of corners, then riding on board with Dan the Snake as the 2 leaders right in front of him, 2 championship contenders. Really important to get the momentum for 2019, especially coming into this race as we head now towards the old turn 1, the new turn 9, Cops Corner, and then we're going flying through Maggots and Beckett soon after this. Everyone's kept it clean, Austin, which is fantastic to see.
Yes, but there was a little bit of an incident in turn 1 and 2 with Jemmy James, the only Ferrari on the grid. He got pushed wide into the escape zone, basically, and the inside of farm, lost a couple of positions there, and then he was on the outside for Village as well. So he dropped all the way from P7 to last to P14, lost a whole lot of positions, and he's gonna have to fight back into this. Maybe he even has damage. We're gonna have to wait and see if he comes into the pits now. No, he does stay out, so no damage on his car. Or maybe he tries to nurse the damage until he can put on these hard compound tires. That could happen, but I doubt he has damage at this point. Otherwise, you would probably rather go in. I'm trying to find... No, it doesn't seem like it. And he doesn't lose much more time. But 7 places lost, definitely not what he hoped for.
Oh, bit of a collision there! Sorry to cut across you, Austin. Cronexus and Alex Musica came together there. Cronexus tapped the back of Alex Musica on the exit of turn 5 there and sent him into the wall. Front wing damage for Alex Musica on the left-hand side. Nothing else doing, though, but a big incident, and I wouldn't be surprised a trip to the steward's office for both the drivers.
Yes, you can see the left wing, the left side of the front wing. The end plate is completely missing. On the right side, it's still there. That's good. That doesn't mean he's going to have to go really slow, but he's definitely going to come into the pits. He's probably going to strap on those hard compound tires and try to take these to the end. But that is very unfortunate for Alex Musica. And we're going to have to wait and see whether he can recover in any significant way, but this might be the end for his race, or for his hopes of getting a good result already. Very, very unfortunate to see, as the leaders are still pretty close to each other. Sergey, Demon, Dan, all of them in the DRS range of each other, all the way down to, oh my, all the way down to 10th place. Solid Ninja Snake and Crow, that's the first gap that is bigger than a second. So everyone's gonna have DRS.
It's going to be stunning to see. Here comes a move from Champ, trying to go up the inside of Jake then as we head through turn 4, now coming through turn 5. This is the first DRS zone that the drivers will be able to use in the race then. This straight all the way up towards turn 6, the Wellington straight, as we now head towards turn 6, 7 and 8, then flying through. You can see lots of different lines being taken now as we head towards turn 7 and Luffield. Important to get a great exit there as you head towards the turn 8 of Woodcote and then turn 9 of Cops. No real braking zones until you get all the way to sector 3 now, so it's all about getting a great line through here. Dirty Air will also have a huge effect here, and we're riding on board with Champ as he still tries to chase down Jake here, sorry, not Snake. I'm thinking of Dan the Snake. I don't know what's going on in my head. I'm going out with a bang in 2018 as we head now through Maggots and Beckett's, through Chapel and down the second DRS straight. Looks like Champ's got a good run on Jake then as we head down towards turn number 15. And Jake tried to hold the inside line, but Champ with the DRS makes the move stick. He's up to P6. I'm wondering here if Jake's going to have a look down the inside, but no, it could be Drez coming down the inside there. Tries to make a move into the inside of turn 16 there. Didn't quite happen, so Jake just about holds on to P7. Champ, though, up to P6.
Yeah, and Drez tried something there, but it didn't really work out. Obviously, if you go into the club section, you don't want to go to the inside of the left-hander of turn 16, because you're going to have the outside for 17 and 18, and it's really, really hard to hold it around the outside there. It's almost impossible to make a move there. So maybe, as a slight advice for Drez, next time try to overtake at a different spot, because it is really, really hard there to make the move stick.
Absolutely. Here we are then, riding on board with Roadhouse then. Both McLarens doing a good job there, getting themselves up into the points and looking like they're trying to make this strategy work. At what point, I wonder, are they going to have team orders? Obviously, Solid Ninja Snake is sticking quite close behind his teammate. He is under fuel, you can see by the yellow fuel icon there, but he can run further into this race. So keep an eye on that McLaren battle then. Might be an inter-team battle in that one. Meanwhile, Sergey leads the race on lap number 4. Demon is in second, Dan the Snake in third, OG in fourth, Pitmat fifth, Champ sixth, Jake in seventh, as that's Sauber off in the background there. As that is Jake battling with Drez there. Took to the grass in the background there and lost a lot of speed coming down the straight. And he's lost the position to Drez. He's got to be careful not to lose any more positions to the likes of Roadhouse behind him, who had a look coming into turn 16. But nothing doing, no dice for him, and he stays another lap, Roadhouse, behind Jake.
Yes, and now they are still battling as Drez lets Jake, it looks like he let him through almost. That was very, he went off the racing line. I don't know if that was to defend, it looked like he almost backed off to let him back through, to now maybe get the DRS on him again. I do not understand that move. It seemed like he really, like he braked almost as Demon moves into the lead. No, there is a fight there, or maybe does he have it around the ins or down the inside now of Luffield? and he makes the move stick. So we have a new leader, Demon, moving past Sergi, and this is the fight for the championship, but it's not over. Sergi's still on the inside of Kops, but Demon can fend him off now. So we have a new race leader, Demon, but how long is he gonna stay there as we come towards the Hangar Straight? One of the 3 DRS zones here. And Sergi looks fast, goes to the outside. Ooh, this is getting close, but no cigar for Sergi here. Has to slot in behind Demon again. And don't forget, Dan the Snake is right behind the two of them, waiting for if there's any mistake made by either of them to capitalize on it and move into second or even first place.
You can see how much straight line speed Sergey has in the DRS zone. He's right on the gearbox of Demon here. Tries to go around the outside, going in towards turn 3. Tries to cut back, as now he tries the outside of turn 4. That's got to be hurting his tyres though. He tries to cut back, tries to get the exit, going through turn 5 now into the DRS zone. Surely this is an opportunity. Look at the speed difference he's got then. Sergey pulls to the inside as we head towards turn number 6. Has he got the move done? Still up the inside, gets that move done with the DRS. And Demon falls to second place, so he didn't have that lead for long. Dan the Snake, you can see, as you keep saying, Austin, he's right behind these two and able to stay with this battle. It is advantage Toro Rosso in the Constructors' Championship, but for Demon, he'd rather be in front of Sergey, his championship rival.
Indeed, but at this point, I think you have to play it a little bit more strategically than Demon does. Just stick it behind Sergey. Don't try to overtake and try to move away from the rest of the field. You can see there's a huge, maybe train is the wrong word, but there's a huge number of cars. It goes all the way down to Igo Cham in 6th place, who is still within that DRS range of P5. So they're all within the DRS range of each other. And you might want to get rid of these cars that probably, going by the qualifying speed at least, the qualifying pace, probably don't have the pace to stick with you if you don't fight. So live to fight another day. It's still early in the race, and being able to exclude some drivers from this fight for the win might be the best strategic call here, but I think Sergey and Demon are too much racers to do that and just stick it behind the other driver and just wait. I don't think they're going to do that.
Absolutely. There's so many battles to look at through the field. We've got Sergey here coming through turn 7, the leader of the race. Demon right behind him. We've also got to watch out for this battle before P7. Drez and Jake Solid Ninja Snake joining on behind. Chrome Nexus joining in the fun, as well as Mighty Bucket. So 2 separate battles going on right now. And Demon here has got a great run coming out of Cops towards Maggots and Beckett's. There's not really anywhere you can place the car through these sets of corners though. You just have to follow behind and maybe hope that the car ahead has a bad exit coming out of Chapel down the DRS straight as we head towards turn 15. And you can see Demon here is closing. You can see he hasn't got that straight line speed, not the same as Sergey had on him just a lap ago. And Sergey's coming into the pits. No, he dummied that one. He certainly caught me out there. I thought he was in for sure, but not yet for Sergey then. Still leads the race as we head around the final corner onto lap 8 of the British Grand Prix.
Yes, he might have had you, but he didn't have me. I, for not a single second, believed he was going to come in. It's a bit too early to switch onto the medium tires. It takes probably another 1 or 2 laps. Even at the end of lap 8 would probably a bit too early, maybe to go on the hards, but why would you do that? Again, the hards are only an emergency tire, not exactly your desired strategy. And so I think lap 9, 10 might be the earliest moment for these drivers to come into the pits to change from the soft to the medium. So not for 1 second did I believe Sergey was going to come in here.
I feel like such an idiot now, but meanwhile, there's Solid Ninja Snake having a look up the inside of Jake then as we head through turn 7, now coming through Woodcote and then coming towards Cops. Again, there's no real braking zone until you get towards turn 15. That's the real overtaking opportunity. Until then, you're in the dirty air trying to get some slipstream as I'm looking to try and get back towards the lead battle here as Sergey Demon, Dan the Snake, the OG, Pitmat, Igochamp are all technically involved in this battle for the lead.
And
you don't get to see
Demon.
this. Yeah, Demon trying to go around the outside then, but the door was closed, and now he might try a move up towards turn number 16 here, as he's, now Sergey's come in. Sergey and Dan the Snake has come in. OG and Igochamp in as well, so Demon's been left out there to fend for himself then. As you were saying to me before we started the stream, this is such an agonising pit lane. You're limited to 60 kph in one of the longest pit lanes on the calendar. You lose so much time here. That's the importance of the one stop. You can't afford a two stop here. You spend too much time in the pit lane. Here is Sergey then. What tyres go on? The mediums go on, and the Renault in the background, they're just about got ahead of the Sauber, who was coming in anyway. So where will Sergey rejoin, I wonder? Long way down to that pit limiter, and you can see there Demon, Igochamp. You've also got Solid Ninja Snake, Mighty Bucket have stayed out, of course. Solid Ninja Snake and the Mighty Bucket are on the medium tyres. So Sergey then, importantly, comes out in clear air in P7. So he's got a chance now to get these tyres warmed up. He has to hold back Dan the Snake, though, in the Toro Rosso. But if he can build a gap behind him, he's got a good chance here of coming out ahead of Demon with that undercut. And you can see him weaving down the straight then as he tries to get some heat into those medium tyres.
Yeah, and I'm a bit surprised, I have to say, at the end of lap 8, that seems a little early to me, considering that the tires are one compound, like there is no compound in between. It's the soft and then the mediums. There is no compound between these two, so generally the factor that you have between two tires that are right next to each other as Demon comes in, Igochamp stays out. He goes for a longer strategy. That's kind of what I expected. But again, generally, the difference between these tires, two different tire compounds that are right next to each other, is between 1.5 and 2. So, if you want to come into the pits at the end of lap 9, that will leave you with 17. The double of 9 is 18. So you would be able to do that. The double of 8, if you come into the pits at the end of lap 8, you would have to do 18 laps on the mediums. And the double of 8 is 16, so that's more than 2. That's not what you want to do. However, the undercut might be the consideration here for Sergey.
Well, Demon.
However,
Demon's come out ahead.
Come out in front of Sergey, and that's exactly what I was expecting, that the softs are still good for a 9th lap, maybe even a 10th lap. We're going to have to see what Ago does. That maybe the softs are even good for a 10th lap. With the factor 1.6, 10 laps on the soft, 16 on the mediums. That would be the perfect strategy in my mind, but we're going to have to wait and see how that plays out. I expect Ago to come into the pits at the end of this lap, and it's going to be interesting to see. Where was Ago before the pits? I think he was behind Matt, right?
I think so. Sorry, here comes the Mighty Bucket then. Into the DRS zone, swoops around the outside of Solid Ninja Snake, makes that look so easy, that move, as Igochamp comes into the pits then. So the Mighty Bucket will take the lead of the race. You're interesting to say then, where will Igochamp rejoin? So I believe he was right at the back of that queue. He was in P6 before all that battling of the lead stopped there. So in he comes, on will go a set of medium tyres, and away he goes. Away goes Igo. And you can see here Demon and Sergey fighting it out then as we head towards the final 3 corners. This is going to help Igochamp, by the way. Demon cutting back towards the last corner. Surely he's got the move then as the two of them go side by side through the final corner. That is an absolutely amazing move from Demon. What a move as he headed in towards turn 1.
Igo's onto the grass. He lost traction out of the pit lane, but he still gained a position on Pip Matt. So again, as I said, lap 10 was the better call. He gained a position on Pip Matt, is right ahead of him now, but he did, he did kind of, I wouldn't say damage his tires, but he definitely gave himself a disadvantage by losing traction out of the pit lane, and Matt goes around the outside because his tires are warmed up already. Agos are not, and so he is left defenseless. Pipmat moving into 7th place, or well, provisional 5th place, virtual 5th place, as both Mighty Bucket and Solid Ninja Snake still have to do a pit stop, because they have started on the mediums and they are still on the mediums.
Absolutely. Well, this is good for Demon. It will cut his gap down at the top if he can keep this, though. The only problem with Silverstone is, now that there's 3 DRS zones, it's very, very difficult to keep that gap. You can see Sergey closing and closing on Demon. The more DRS zones there are, the more that Haas seems to love the straight line speed. So keep an eye on this battle. It is far from over. And the more these two battle, what's the chances of Mighty Bucket and Solid Ninja Snake working together? I doubt very high, but if they play their cards right here, they could rejoin, because they've got to use the soft tyre at some point. They could rejoin and have a good chance of getting vital points for their championships.
Yes, don't forget, they will be on the soft, so they will have a huge advantage on everyone else on the mediums until pretty much the end of the race. The advantage will shrink every lap that they are on the softs. Obviously, because the softs do wear faster. However, they will have a huge advantage. They are going to have to make some inroads quickly and make some overtakes quickly. But as you said before, 3 DRS zones. This track lends itself to some overtaking. And what that means is it's rather easy for such a strategy to work out compared to, let's say, for example, Hungary, where it's very hard to overtake, or Monaco, obviously. This kind of strategy, running contrary to everyone else with a softer compound at the end, this can work out for both of them very, very well. But they're going to have to go into this race a rather long time, I would say, at least 16, or yeah, at least 16 laps. So at the end of lap 16 is, I think, the first time we can expect them. They might take it a little bit longer, just because that gives them a little bit more of an advantage towards the end, because obviously the soft will be fresher. But it's interesting to see. However, the gap does come down. It's below 20 seconds now between Demon and Sergey and the race leader, Mighty Bucket, as well as Solid Ninja Snake. So the gap does come down rather quickly, so they might want to dispatch of these medium tires rather early. So lap 16 would be my call if I was their strategist, but I'm not, so they're going to have to decide it.
Yeah, that's why they're on the track, Austin, and we're up in the commentary box. But here comes Sergey, though. Is he going to try and move up the inside? Demon sees those red arrows there. He's left a gap, and that could be an advantage to Sergey. You can see Demon here trying to close off all those opportunities. Sergey trying to get the traction here as we head towards turn 8 now, through Woodcote, and then coming towards Cops Corner, as we prepare ourselves for Maggots and Beckett's once again. And you can see their Demon taking a wider line, but will that advantage him, will that disadvantage him? You can see from the mini splits that Sergey is closing as we head through Maggots now, shifting our way through towards Beckett's and then through Chapel. This left-hander here, DRS open for Sergey, and let's see if he can close that gap then as we head down towards turn 15. Here he goes, he's closing. Which side will he go? He'll go to the right, he'll go for it down the inside, trying to hold that inside line now. No, not quite. Demon had that outside line move done. And as we head towards 16 then, Sergey decides not to try and make a move. Demon just about holds on to P3.
Yes, the issue with Stowe is that you can take multiple lines through there if you are battling, and you can hold it round the outside rather well and still keep your position. However, Sergey is trying it around the outside here now in turn 3. He's got the inside for the loop for turn 4, and he's taking that position, and he will have the DRS as well, because in the at the detection zone, he was still behind Demon, so he gets the DRS. So no threat from Demon, who only gets the slipstream, and these two pretty much cancel each other out. So you have the slipstream, but you don't have the DRS. The guy in front of you doesn't have a slipstream, but he does have the DRS. That's pretty much the same effect. And so no chance for him to overtake here, and Demon down to 4th and to virtual 2nd place for now.
Absolutely, it's a great move from Sergey. Demon's not done with him yet, though, as we head through Maggots and Beckett for a 14th time in this race, rounding our way towards Chapel. And again, Demon in that DRS zone. Now let's have a look and see what the difference is. The Toro Rosso is closing very quickly here. He might have the move done before the DRS zone. The braking zone, as he tries round the outside. Has he got that move done? Yes, he has. Just about edges out Sergey here, but Sergey's not done with him. No, he thought about the inside move, but not quite. And Demon then takes back third place from Sergey, and the more these guys battle, the more they wear their tyres out. That hands an advantage to Mighty Bucket and Solid Ninja Snake, who are just building that gap right now. The gap's stabilised to around about 6/10, 7/10 of a second. They're happy to just go at the pace they're going at, and Sergey there really trying to close the gap. Champ, meanwhile, is still on the back of pit mat then, as Crow Nexus picks up a 3-second time penalty as we make our way through turn 4, then coming through turn 5 with Champ. He's going to have to DRS right behind pit mat. This is going to be an important move for Igo. Can he try a move? Pitmat goes defensive, goes to the left-hand side, and then Champ switches back to the inside, trying to go down the left-hand side, trying to go now round the outside, and they make contact, the two of them, as Champ still tries to go around the outside to make this move work. Watch the gravel there. Champ just couldn't make that move work. It was a great idea, a great initial move, as Champ, surely they're not going to go too wide going through cops now. They do. Champ up the inside, gets the move done, but he's got a compromised line here, has he? No, he hasn't. Pitmat just couldn't quite make that move work then, and Champ is up to P7 in a place where really you shouldn't be going too wide. Fantastic move from Champ.
Yes, that was absolute bravery. Even in these 2018 cars, going through Copse Corner too wide is a very brave thing to do, because even alone, going full speed through that corner is almost impossible, at least in race conditions. It's different in the qualifying, because the car is lighter, the tires are better, so you can take the corner flat out in qualifying. In the race, when the fuel is in the car, when the tires are a bit worn, it's pretty tough to do, and so going too wide through there, even tougher. Very, very well done from both drivers to keep it clean, and from Champ to just throw it up the inside and make the move stick. Very, very great racing, as Solid Ninja Snake is past the Mighty Bucket, going for the lead, and he has it.
Yeah, absolutely. Solid Ninja Snake moves into the lead then, as Sergey here is starting to struggle actually. He's dropped a little bit back into the clutches of Dan the Snake here. He's got to watch out. This battling with Demon is great, but he's got to watch his tyres, because Dan the Snake here is just watching on eagerly and making sure that he applies that pressure to Sergey, which it seems at the moment it's working. So Dan the Snake being that teammate there to just put him under pressure. 11 laps to go here at the British Grand Prix, and a beautiful camera angle here as we ride with Sergey then. He's in the DRS zone of Demon, and you can see him close up quickly, but it won't be quick enough as we head towards the right-hander. He may think about a move going up the inside, but no, not quite. Runs a little bit wide actually on the exit there of turn 15, but you can see now Dan the Snake has dropped a little bit back. We might have reached a stage here where both drivers are concerned about their tyres, and maybe the gap's just about to build. Maybe I'll be entirely wrong, Austin, and in about 30 seconds time they'll be at each other's necks again.
That could very well happen. However, it is a very, very tough situation for Sergey right now, being surrounded by both the Toro Rossos. Both Demon, his championship rival, and Dan the Snake. It is very, very hard for him to come out of this on top. He might want to settle for second place, but I don't think he's going to do that. Again, these guys are racers. They are going at it with all they have, and maybe Sergey has a plan in his head how he can fend off Dan the Snake and go for the move on Demon late in the race to maybe snatch that win away from the Toro Rosso driver and claim victory here in Britain on Demon's home turf.
Absolutely, and that is exactly what Sergey wants to do. The only question is, can he do it? These two have just been locked in such a huge battle, with Dan the Snake just closely following behind. You can see Sergey under 2/10 of a second. Demon tries to pull to the left-hand side to do some sort of defensive work to try and get out of that slipstream, but no, Sergey gets the move done, and he moves up towards P3. Demon is still there though, trying to go round the outside. Sergey defends the inside line. Demon tries to cut back through the final few corners. We've got Solid Ninja Snake in the pits, by the way. So these two will go up a position. Demon here trying to go towards turn 1 of Abbey and then through turn 2 of Farm. You saw Demon there just lift off going towards turn 1. He thought about the move but severely decided against it, and I think that was the right call in the end. He doesn't want to lose out on this opportunity through a silly move and a silly mistake, and he'd rather wait for a DRS zone, and that's the racer. That's the thinking behind all of this. Do I make this move now? Does it have to be done now, or can I make it easier on me later on? Here comes Demon then as we head towards this left-hander here, trying to go up the inside of Sergey there, which will then become the outside as we head towards turn 7. Sergey, you see there, trying to take a little bit of a wider line to prioritise his exit through turn 7 there, now flying through turn 8 and heading towards Copse Corner now. You can still see Dan the Snake there. He's going to play a vital role in this, sticking with these two. No matter what they throw at each other, he's ready to take advantage should this battle end in tears.
Yeah, this is also very, very important for the team here, that Toro Rosso has at least one driver in there that can take some points, even if Sergey and Demon have some kind of moment with each other and there is some kind of collision, that you have still Dan in there who can pick up the scraps and bring some points home for the team. Toro Rosso does have a lead in the championship by quite a significant margin, 62 points. So even if Haas, Sergey and Drez in this race were to finish 1-2 through some miracle, and Demon and Dan drop out of this race, which is probably not going to happen, but even if, they would still be 19 points short. That's how big the gap is between Toro Rosso and Haas in the team championship right now. So it's gonna be a huge task for Haas as Demon goes down the inside and gets the move done, goes back into the provisional lead, and Dan has made a mistake. Dan has made a mistake. He lost 3 positions there to the OG, Igo, and Pip Matt, all the way down to 6. I just talked about it. I just said Toro Rosso just needs him there to stick with him, and he makes an unprovoked error in Brooklands, loses the back end, and drops 3 positions. Comes onto the grass. Oh my.
Well, that's going to have serious implications because now Demon doesn't have some sort of rear gunner. Here comes Sergey up the inside as we head towards turn 15. He's got that move done here. Oh, that made contact! Sergey's out! Now, did Demon get hooked up with him there? He went off the track. I wonder if they hooked tyre to front wing there. Demon sort of slowed it down a little bit. And I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Sergey went straight for the wall. And Demon carries on. Drama here, Austin.
Indeed, that is very, very huge, and it's gonna be the stewards are gonna have to decide this. I do not want to make a judgment call on this. This is the stewards. Sorry, I'm speechless. The stewards are gonna have to see the points of view from both drivers to see whether there was some contact or not, and especially the point of view from Demon. He probably, hopefully, has a game recording and to maybe redeem himself. But if there was a contact and Demon tapped Sergey in the rear on the exit of Stowe, that's most likely going to be a penalty for him, and a very severe one, because he basically just, if that is the case, he shoved his rival, his opponent, out of the way. Very heartbreaking for Sergey here. He is out of the race.
Absolutely. Well, we only saw one camera angle of that, and that was the broadcast one. We didn't get a clear view because of all this sort of haze in the distance. So obviously that's going to be one for the stewards. But well, Demon's still in the race.
If I may interrupt, I'm very sorry, but I did have the TV pod view. I looked at this from Demon's point of view on the TV pod. It was inconclusive, I can tell you this. It looked like there was no contact, but the car, Sergey's car, behaved like there was contact. So I don't know what happened there. It looks like there was maybe 20 to 30 centimeters between the front wing of Demon and the rear of Sergey's car. But again, at the end of the day, I think that is inconclusive of whether Demon did something wrong or not.
Well, I can tell you one thing,
The behavior.
Sergey, for one, is going to be fuming in that cockpit. That is the only thing we can take away from all of this, as Demon is in second place. That promotes the OG, by the way, up into third place. Now remember, the Mighty Bucket is yet to stop in this race. He's done 20 laps on those medium tyres. Expect him to come into the pits on this lap. I think he's left it too late for these medium tyres. Those soft tyres are not going to have enough time to properly warm up, and I don't think he's going to have enough time to get them to the end. He has to make a stop. There's no question about it. He has to make a stop.
Yes. What is he trying to do? I don't understand. Even if it rains, you cannot finish the race on the dry set of tires you started on. So even if it rains, you have to pit unless you start on a wet compound tire. That at this moment it doesn't matter, but if you are on the mediums, if you start on the mediums, you're gonna have to come in at some point. And I think what Mighty Bucket is trying to go for is he hopes that there's some rain coming, but as much as the sky looks a lot more gray than at the start, it doesn't look like it's gonna rain. Not even close. And so he might have seriously misgambled and messed up his strategy in the process. Very unfortunate to see, unless there is some kind of miracle and the skies open up, or rather they close down, and the rain just keeps falling and drops down. It pours, but I don't see, looking at the sky, I don't see rain coming that quickly. For his strategy to fully work, the rain would have to hit probably at the end of next lap.
And it would have to be a very sudden one as well. I'm just watching this battle between Roadhouse and
he's
Jake
coming into
here.
the pits.
So Mighty Bucket,
he's coming into the pits now.
Mighty Bucket, 21 laps on those tyres.
22.
Yes, you're right, it will be 22. Meanwhile, here's a three-way battle here between the Roadhouse, Jake and Jammy James, and there looked like a little bit of contact there. Jake just about kept it on the track, and Roadhouse there. Oh, Jammy James runs into the back of Jake there. Is there front wing damage to that car? I'm not entirely sure, as Igo Champ sets the fastest lap of the race. So Demon in the lead, OG in second, Igo Champ third. So it's a good result so far for the OG and Igo Champ. Good chance to score some points here, as the Mighty Bucket here will rejoin all the way down the field. And questions will be asked to that Red Bull team there. What on earth was that strategy? We're looking at the Roadhouse and Jake and Jammy James, the battle for P7 as we head into the DRS zone here. We may see the Sauber here, might have a cheeky look down the inside. He doesn't know, so keeps it under wraps for now. This is going to be an interesting three-way battle though for P7 between the Roadhouse, Jake and James. We've also got to watch out for Demon in the lead. He is got a gap to the OG, but it's not a big gap. It's definitely one that could that DRS could play a vital role in. So 2 or 3 battles around the track to be looking at. There's Jake and Jammy James scrapping it out for P8 right now as we head through Maggots and Beckett's here, as Jake is just trying to keep the car on the track at the moment. That car is a little bit squirrely, losing the back end quite a lot. Then we have around about 4 laps to go in this British Grand Prix. They've absolutely flown by here. So much fun this Grand Prix has been. So much has happened as well. And oh, Jake's lost the back end. Oh, he's lost it. Jake's lost it on the grass. Can he keep it out of the wall? Yes, just about. He can. Oh, lucky for Jake there then. And he's going to be able to spin the car around. Well, front wing intact, but he's been disqualified for going the wrong way.
That is so unfortunate.
And here comes Igo Champ. Sorry to cut on to the OG here. And yeah, there you go. Jake disqualified from the session. That's quite harsh, I think. But Igo Champ now battling the OG. And this is some sort of gift for Demon here. He'll be able to try and pull away from this battle as we now head through towards turn 7. You can see the OG runs deep there. It tries to cover off that line. Meanwhile, Dan the Snake is on a charge now. He knows he made that mistake earlier on. And he's past Pitmat. up the inside of turn 7, and he gets the move done. Watching the OG and Igo Champ, as well as down the snake and Pitmat here, watching behind them.
Sorry to interrupt, but there is rain now. There is slight rain. There are some drops coming down. It's not much, but it does change the way these drivers have to drive on the track quite a bit. So there are some raindrops coming down. I can see it on the TV pod at least. And this is gonna make the end of this race rather spicy, I can tell you this.
Absolutely. Well, the gap to the leader is 0.5 of a second, just over that, and it will take a lap or two for the track to really, you know, pay some price to those slick tyres with how wet it will get. But Demon leads with 2 laps to go, with the rain starting to fall down. I wonder how quick this track is going to get wet then. Dan the Snake has 3.9 seconds to Igo Champ, but you can see the top 3 right here. Demon, the OG and Igo Champ are all in the battle for the race lead. 2 laps to go as the Mighty Bucket on some soft tyres sets the fastest lap of the race. And I've got a feel for the Mighty Bucket. He was using that strategy. The team probably were telling him the rain's on its way, just stay on those tyres. They finally changed tyres and the rain starts to come down. You've got a feel for the Mighty Bucket there.
Yes, but it's still not enough rain to warrant intermediate tyres, so he's still on the right tyre for this kind of tyre right now. However, looking at how the rain increases and it becomes more and more that pours down, just ever so slightly more, I don't actually think we're going to see the DRS disabled.
Well, that's a very good point.
I think this might happen after the race is finished.
Well, that may be the case. So that's a lifeline for the OG and Igo Champ then to keep battling. Remember, Dan the Snake behind, trying to battle Pitmat. He's just picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And you see there, Demon is coming around the final few corners then. He's going to start the final lap of the British Grand Prix in the lead. Where will he end it? The final lap of the British Grand Prix has begun, and I'm not entirely sure which battle to look at. Demon here is being reeled in by the OG as we head towards turn 2. And can that Renault just about hold on? That Renault there has got to attack the Toro Rosso but defend from the Force India as we make our way through turn 4. Here we go then through turn 5 now. The DRS hasn't been disabled. Open goes the DRS from the OG as we head up towards turn 6 now. He had a look up the inside, now we'll try the outside line then as Demon holds the inside line for turn 6, and Alex Musica is retired from the race then as we head through turn 7. Got to be careful on the exit here. The track will be damp as we now head towards turn 8 now, flying through. Demon is just about going to hold on through this section as long as he doesn't make a mistake here. He's only got a couple more braking zones to go. The OG trying to really floor it now as we go through Cops. Now we're heading towards Maggots and Beckett's. Look how close the OG is then as we head through the final time through Maggots and Beckett's here. That Renault has really got to watch out for the Force India then as we make our way through Chapel for the last time into the last DRS zone that's going to provide any benefit. Here comes the Renault now. Does he decide to try and go for a lunge down the inside as we head towards turn 15? No, he doesn't. He backs out of the move. The Force India as well stays out of it. So only one more major braking zone now for the OG. Will he try and make a move down the inside? You saw the Force India there in the mirrors try and make a move, but I think Demon is just about going to hold on to this one. He comes around the final corner and he takes the win at the British Grand Prix by the skin of his teeth. The OG finishes in 2nd place. Igo Champ runs out the top 3. Pitmat jumps Dan the Snake in 4th place, with Dan the Snake finishing in 5th and what might have been. Jamie James in 6th, Drez in 7th there, the Roadhouse in 8th. Solid Ninja Snake crosses the line, he finishes P9, and the Mighty Bucket and Crow Nexus round out the top 10 and 11. But your winner, provisionally, for the British Grand Prix, it's Demon.
Yes, fantastic driving from him, fantastic defending. He had a little bit of I wouldn't say luck, but it certainly helped him that the OG was making a mistake in Beckett's. He went a little bit wide into the left-hander and then also a little bit wide into the right-hander. So that definitely helped out Demon to have enough of a gap so that the OG was not able to attack and carve up a move into Stowe. But great driving from Demon. However, you said it provisionally. We don't know what is going to happen with that incident between Demon and Sergey. for Sergey, the championship leader before this race. Now he is not anymore, as Demon provisionally jumps him with that win. Now 159 points on Demon, 150 on Sergey, so a 9-point lead. However, again, we're going to have to wait for what the stewards decide, and we're going to keep you updated on that. The next race in 2019, it's going to be a while. 3 weeks you're going to have to wait.
Yeah,
it's going to be the German Grand Prix, my personal home Grand Prix, I have to say that.
Yeah, you'll have to wait till next year to find out those results. But Demon provisionally taking the win, the OG in second, and Igo Champ in third place. Well, a dramatic British Grand Prix, to say the least. Well, Austin, if you had to pick out a driver of the day, who would you go for?
That's a very good question. I probably would have to give it to Demon right now. Again, if from my point of view, it looked like there was no contact, but I don't know. But I would have to give it to Demon for all the battling he did with Sergey, with Igo, with the OG. Very great racing, kept it clean for at least the most part. We're gonna have to wait for that ruling, but very, very good driving from Demon, and he got that win, and he got that championship lead as well.
Absolutely. Well, the next time we're back in the commentary box, Austin, is in the new year. You can join us again on the 6th of January. So we've got, I believe that's a 2-week break now from AOR for this thing called Christmas. I don't really know. It's a new thing they're trying. But we'll be back on the 6th of January at around about 8 p.m. GMT for the German Grand Prix. Austin's looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. And I hope you guys can join us for it. Austin, that brings us to the end of the stream and the end of our debut together. I've really enjoyed the British Grand Prix.
Same for me. I've really enjoyed casting with you for the first time. It was a pleasure, and to many more.
To many more indeed. And that in itself wraps up the stream. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Hope to see you on the 6th of January after the Christmas break. Until then, though, I've been Kieran McGinley.
I'm Austin Smith.
Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.